Flight attendant cut a black boy's ear. With fork, didn't realize who was sitting 2 rows back. The cabin was tense, humming with the low murmur of passengers settling in for the long flight ahead. A sleek silver plane sliced through the sky, its engines humming a steady drone that barely reached the ears of those inside. Among them sat 11-year-old Malik Johnson, his dark eyes wide with excitement and nerves. He had never flown alone before, but today he was on his way to visit his mother in another state. His small hands clutched a crumpled comic book as he waited patiently in the cramped economy class. A few rows ahead, the flight attendant strode down the aisle, a tall man in his late 30s named Derek, with a practiced smile that never quite reached his eyes. Derek was known among the crew for his efficiency, but also for his sharp temper and a simmering resentment that flickered in his gaze whenever he dealt with certain passengers. When the drink service began, Malik eagerly raised his hand for some juice. Derek nodded curtly and moved toward him with a tray in hand. But then something snapped in Derek's expression. He caught sight of Malik's skin, the dark tone of it, and the gleam of the comic book in his hands. "Hey, kid," Derek said brusquely. "You're supposed to stay in your seat until the seatbelt signs off. What are you doing climbing around already?" Malik blinked, startled. "I wasn't climbing, sir. I was just reaching for my book." Derek's mouth twisted into a sneer. "Well, don't touch my cart then." Malik recoiled, confusion and fear mingling in his eyes. "I didn't." Before he could finish, Derek's elbow jabbed sharply against the cart, and a fork balanced on the tray slipped free. The metal prong caught Malik's ear in a cruel, slicing motion. A sharp sting burned, and Malik screamed, clutching his bleeding ear with trembling fingers. Gasps and murmurs erupted throughout the cabin. Derek straightened, eyes cold and hard, as if daring anyone to object. "Watch yourself, boy," he snarled. 2 rows back, seated quietly in business class, sat Malcolm Reed, a man who commanded attention without even trying. His salt-and-pepper hair framed a stern face marked by years of battle scars and wisdom earned in the highest ranks of government. Malcolm was no ordinary passenger. He was the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Justice, overseeing civil rights enforcement nationwide. Malcolm's jaw tightened as he watched the scene unfold. His gaze pierced through the cabin, taking in the fear in Malik's eyes and the reckless cruelty of the flight attendant. For a moment, the cabin felt frozen. Without standing, Malcolm reached into his briefcase, fingers closing around a small recorder and his phone. Quietly, he started recording the incident. The flight attendant's arrogance shattered with the sound of a calm, commanding voice cutting through the cabin. "Sir, step away from the child." Heads turned. The passengers sensed a storm brewing, Derek's face flushed with rage. "And who are you to tell me what to do?" Malcolm's voice was icy but steady. "I am Malcolm Reed, Deputy Secretary of Justice. That child's ear is bleeding because of your negligence and outright abuse. I will be reporting this incident to the airline and federal authorities." Derek's smile vanished. His eyes darted around, suddenly aware of the growing eyes and whispers surrounding him. "You're going to regret this," Derek hissed, stepping back and avoiding Malcolm's gaze. Malik, tears streaking his cheeks, looked up at Malcolm. "Thank you, sir." The flight continued with a heavy silence, but the repercussions of Derek's actions would soon shake the foundations far beyond the cramped airplane cabin. After landing, Malcolm stayed close to Malik, ensuring the boy received medical attention immediately. But Malcolm's real mission was just beginning. Back in Washington, the Deputy Secretary convened an urgent meeting with his trusted aide, Carla Nguyen. "This isn't just an isolated incident," Malcolm said, eyes burning with determination. "There are too many complaints about this airline. Racist behavior, cover-ups, silence from the top. It's systemic." Carla nodded, pulling up files on her tablet. "I found internal memos hinting at customer behavior management policies that disproportionately target black passengers. And there are rumors of executives suppressing reports to protect profits." Malcolm's face hardened. "We'll expose every lie. This ends now." But as they dug deeper, threats began to arrive. Anonymous calls, veiled warnings, even a break-in at Malcolm's home where nothing was stolen except his laptop and files related to the case. Malcolm wasn't deterred. Instead, he enlisted the help of investigative journalist Ryan Hayes, known for exposing corporate corruption. Ryan's latest findings were damning. Leaked emails showed executives instructing staff to handle minority passengers firmly to prevent complaints, and hush payments made to victims to avoid lawsuits. "This is bigger than we thought," Ryan said grimly. "They're poisoning the system from the inside." Malcolm and Ryan planned a public expose timed with a congressional hearing on airline discrimination policies. The tension mounted as Derek's case became a symbol of widespread injustice. The day of the hearing arrived. The packed room buzzed with anticipation. Malcolm took the stand, holding Malik's medical report and video footage from the flight. "This is not just about a child's ear," Malcolm declared. "It's about the culture of racism embedded in this airline, protected by corporate greed and silence. We demand accountability." Behind closed doors, airline executives watched in panic. Their attempts to smear Malik's character as disruptive and to discredit Malcolm fell flat under the weight of irrefutable evidence. Suddenly, a hush fell over the room as a new witness was called, Derek. He took the stand, face pale, hands trembling. I was wrong. I was under pressure to control passengers quickly. I didn't know who was watching." Malcolm's eyes narrowed. "You knew what you did was wrong. But you were following orders?" Derek swallowed hard. "Yes, sir." Then, with a sudden twist, Malcolm presented a transcript from an undercover recording made by an anonymous airline employee, revealing the CEO instructing managers to put the brakes on complaints and keep minorities in line to protect profits. The room exploded with gasps and outrage. Weeks later, the airline's board of directors was forced to resign amid public outcry. The CEO faced criminal charges for conspiracy to suppress civil rights complaints. New policies were enacted nationwide to increase oversight and enforce anti-discrimination laws in airlines. Malik's family received a formal apology and a trust fund established for his future. And Malcolm? He sat quietly in his office, knowing the fight was far from over, but feeling the weight of justice served, if only for now. The echo of Malik's courage and Malcolm's resolve became a beacon, a reminder that one small act of cruelty could ignite a wildfire of truth and change. Disclaimer: this story is a fictional dramatization created for entertainment purposes only.